This is East Texas Insiders. And now, here's Rob Hipp. Well, hey, friends, Rob Hipp here. It's a new season for the Sam Houston Bearkats. It's always a lot of fun to dig into the new year and to learn from opposing teams what's going on. And what a great way to start out, keeping the play right here in Texas versus the Rice Owls. That game coming up on August the 31st. You can watch it on ESPN+. Going to be an exciting matchup to get things going, and an awesome matchup is on the way. Many Bearcat fans are going to make their way down to Houston to watch at Rice Stadium. And as you go back and look, a lot of history between these two teams, and this will be, I believe, the 18th game between Sam Houston and the Rice Owls. It's my privilege and pleasure to now bring on the voice of the Owls, none other than entering his 13th year, Mr. JP Heath. JP, man, thanks for your time today.
Hey, brother, really appreciate it. You doing all right?
Hanging in there, just enjoying the heat, but it's kind of cool to talk to you an hour and 15 minutes down the road. You're feeling probably even more with the humidity.
Yeah, and I live north of town and south of y'all, so we're practically neighbors here. So.
Well, JP, as I said, 13 years now on the radio call for football and being involved with the Rice Owls. You do some stuff on TV as well. You'll be on the radio call for this one. Before we kind of dig into this matchup coming up here before too long and to open up the season, can you give us just a little bit of rundown about you, a little bit of your history and how you got involved with the Rice program?
Oh, man. I know we don't have all the time in the world, but the condensed version of the condensed version is that I started doing Rice baseball in 2009, actually applied for the football analyst position, and the boss man at the time, Russ Dean, wisely did not choose me to be the football analyst, and I chose my current partner, Nate Griffin, but Russ, the boss at the time, said, "Hey, are you interested maybe in doing Rice baseball?" And I had to think about it 1/19 of a second, like, yeah, duh. And then God is good. It things opened perfectly, and did Rice baseball for 4 seasons. And I remember exactly where I was when I got the call to move in full time in 2012 summer of, and it feels like just a couple of years ago. So yeah, it's been a crazy ride.
Well, JP, looking forward to this matchup. We'll dig in and talk a little bit about it here from the Rice perspective. A lot of folks know what's going on here with Sam Houston, so we want to know what's going on from your side of the field. This is a kind of a storied matchup. If you go back and look at the history of these going back, I believe this is going to be the 18th matchup. Now, you guys own it 16-1 at home. You're 15-1. The last time that these two teams met up was way back in 1993. It was a close one there, 14-13. Really only 2 games, though, played at Rice Stadium. The previous games were the old Rice Stadium and one time in Huntsville, and the Bearcats did get that one victory, but it goes all the way back to way before you and I were even a thought in 1939. So I'll kind of lead with this. Rice Stadium holds about, 47,000? Is that right?
Yeah, on a good day. I'd say. Yeah.
So what are we looking at? When you come in, this is kind of the launch. It's the beginning of the season. Give us an idea of what the overall atmosphere you think is going to be like here for this game number 1.
Well, it's great because it's local. I know it's different. The scheduling is different in basketball and baseball, the methodology. Football is scheduled years in advance, probably. I won't speak for Bobby Williams, who I know pretty well up there. But it was when Sam Houston was an FCS team. So the dynamic changed when Sam Houston moved up to FBS. And it would have been a challenge as an FCS team, and it would have been still a challenge coming up here in a few days. So I love the local flavor. And I was looking at the breakdown you were reciting. Not too many people remember the 9-8 shootout where Sam Houston squeaked it out in 1939. But I love the local aspect of it. Rice, the reputation of running the ball a lot, but they're a very balanced team with a really good passing team. We might break down the dynamics of the offense and defense later. But finally, an opener. I was just talking with somebody the other day where Rice doesn't play a Texas or an Arkansas. We still have U of H coming in a couple weeks, but with TSU next week and then U of H the week after, and you guys up the road in I-45 coming down here, I love the local aspect of it. And that's kind of the way I think a lot of it's lost in college football, but still have those big rivalries, but really glad that we're playing again because 1993, a 14-13 squeaker, first time since then.
Well, you go back and look, and, I won't talk too much about the past, but last season, you guys, I believe the second year in a row, bowl eligible, playing Texas State, and, lost that game. But this team, the Rice Owls, looks like a team that's kind of been on a little bit of a rebound over the last few years. Can you kind of give us a sense of what's been going on at Rice and what's led to some of that success of them getting into these bowl games?
Well, it's the culture. Mike Bloomgren's in his 7th season now, and even as great as David Bailiff was, and who I will go on record, they've had some great coaches in the past. Jess Neely, you go back in the 1950s. But, they've had some really good coaches, but it had slipped a little bit, and Rice got Mike Bloomgren in, and it took a while to get going. But now that things are kind of on the upward momentum, I mentioned what folks see the record. If they go by the record year by year, they don't really see how much improved Rice was. I go back to the COVID year, they beat Marshall. Marshall was 15th in the nation then. So they've had these steady progressions, winning at UAB a couple of years ago when they were big underdogs. And it was really surprising. You mentioned that Texas State game to end the year last year. That was really kind of a sad trombone sound effect towards the end of the year because Rice was riding high going into that bowl game. But, hey, it is what it is, and Texas State was better that day. But they are so optimistic coming into this year because they have a really good quarterback in E.J. Warner, a deep running back room. And it's really a 7-8 win type of projection, you realistically saying for Rice, and that's definitely a big step forward.
I think it's one of those things about Sam Houston, too. You go back to a year ago for Sam Houston, and they're down. You look at 5 games that they could have won, but they didn't. You go down to 1-score games. And so I think both of these teams, it's going to be poised for a pretty good matchup. When you look at it on the Rice side of the ball, maybe some key areas. I know you've started to highlight a few things, and so we'll dig into that. Maybe some of those key areas that Rice really needs to focus on to secure a victory against Sam Houston in this opening matchup, JP.
Well, it'll be the first game for E.J. Warner. For those that don't know, that Warner, Kurt Warner's son, and he led the league, the American Conference, in passing the last 2 years. Yeah. And from what I've seen, man, he can drop it in the bucket, put it on the dime. So JT Daniels was a great quarterback in the 6-7 games he played last year, but E.J. Warner, outstanding. Everybody knows you have to have a dude at QB, and he's that guy behind center. They've got a really deep running game. A guy named Dean Connors who will probably get some NFL sniffs, at least in training camp. They have a true freshman, Taji Atkins, that has turned heads and then some. He's a Spring Westfield kid right down the road from both of us. He is dynamic. He's caught all the attention inside and made some great plays in the scrimmages. They're going to have to really do some things at wide receiver because they lose Luke McCaffrey. He was a high draft pick to the Washington Commanders. It pains me. I'm a Cowboys fan.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I know. It's my lot in life to suffer, I guess.
I'm down. Hey, I'm a Cowboys fan too, brother. So
I knew I liked you, brother. I knew I liked you.
Come on should have came out as come on, man.
Come on. But in the line, they've got Brant Banks, who is moving out to right tackle to take the place of Ethan Onanwa, who's swinging out to left tackle, bioengineering major at left tackle, and a future NFL guy. So they've got some dudes, man. They're bigger, they're deeper. How will they do on Saturday? I don't know. Newsflash, not to spoil the secret, but I know that at least on paper and what I've seen to eye test, they are better than last year.
So we look on the other end of the ball. We've talked about Rice and just how things look on your side. Going to Sam Houston, talking about this battle with Sam Houston, where do you see the Bearkats? They have to do what in order to win?
Oh, man, I dig deeper in the personnel on game week, but just knowing Obviously the portal is like a turnstile these days for most programs. I know the Rice coaches really respect the running game, and obviously the resume speaks for itself with what Coach Keeler has done and his bona fides at his stops. My gosh, big up front, fast, can run the ball. So I think that's where it would start. But you're going against a Rice defense that lost Braylon Carroll to Texas Tech, lost Trayshawn DeVones and Jordan Dunbar in the portal. But newsflash, they're pretty deep. They've got a lot of starters back. So I think if Sam establishes that run but has that big play early, because Rice isn't a team that's going to speed it up or go fast. It's going to be a shorter game. So Rice is a better team when they're the ones being chased. It's hard for them to make up a lot. So looking at it I like the way you asked that question, because if you look at it from the other angle, we always talk about in our broadcast, hey, be the one being chased. So if Sam Houston gets an early 10-point score, that's going to be a lot of uphill work for our blue and gray.
Do you feel like, Sam Houston now second year in the FBS, and Keeler has talked a lot about, I just looked at some of the guys this year and they just look a little bit bigger. And he's talked about, we've got to get more stronger on the Bearcat side of the ball. Do you feel like coming into this ball game that it's kind of a toss up, or do you really feel like maybe Sam Houston's the underdog, or is Rice the underdog in this one?
I think Rice is the rightful favorite. It shouldn't be a news making item that the guy wearing the Rice logos worked at Rice for a baker's dozen years as in favor of his Owls. If you look at the conference hierarchy and the perception, at least, the American being a tidge ahead of Conference USA, but that doesn't matter a hill of beans. They don't play the game on paper. That at about $6 will get you an overpriced coffee, but still caffeinated. I think, and I am very wary of getting into what the folks out in the desert say, but I think Rice is the favorite on that side of things too. But not to be the no fun guy, I'm accused of being the no fun guy, but it doesn't really matter as much because they play. Yeah, Rice might be the slight favorite or whatever it is now. Or if you told me Sam Houston was the slight favorite, that wouldn't surprise me either. But I'm telling you, Rice is big. Rice is tough. And I think this is a whole season projection. They're going to catch a lot of teams by surprise, I think.
Again, JP Heath joining us, the voice of the Owls, 13th year for JP, does a phenomenal job there in Houston. JP, just kind of digging a little bit more into this one today. I've been thinking a lot about and you've already alluded to this, but the dynamics of how close these two teams are. Mm-hmm. Is this everything that you were kind of hoping as far as having whenever you heard the news of Sam Houston going to the FBS? Was this something that was always on your radar to say, man, it would be kind of cool to play these guys since they're right down the street?
No, I love it. I think top of the mind, I've only had a couple basketball games in the last decade and a half, if that, and then play baseball home and away every year. So, I tell you, why does this guy keep harping on it? But I wish it had been done sooner. Again, I don't make the contracts, but I wish it had been done sooner because I love that aspect of playing teams in your backyard. Not only does it give you bragging rights, it gives you a litmus test to know kind of where you stand in the area. When you're a program and a fan base as rabid as you guys are, maybe there's a chip on the shoulder. And to me, I work at Rice, a natural underdog in a lot of sense too. I like that. I like being the underdog in some senses, but it's so great to play and just settle it there. None of this yapping and talking around the water cooler. Let's play some ball, man.
I want to go back briefly just to kind of the training camp for you guys down there in Houston. A great camp for Sam Houston, just wrapping up. You guys wrapping up as well. Anything that you can take away from that says, man, this was something that I didn't expect, or just kind of your overall thoughts from how your training camp went?
Oh, man, I think talking to Coach Bloomgren about that very thing, we were doing some preseason production, getting ready for our coaches shows and formatics of the broadcast. I was like, hey, boss, what do you think? He's like, hey, we're healthy, we're wealthy, and they feel really good. Like I mentioned, the freshmen potential there with Atkins. They have to find that receiver replacement. I neglected earlier to mention they have a talented receiver in Rawson McNeil. Didn't want to glaze over him, but they've got an NFL quality tight end in Bowden Garoon too. Rice has churned out a few NFL tight ends in my time, but they're so, you know how the dynamic goes probably. Like when you have a schedule where you can go into it looking at, hey, we're not predicting 12-0 and getting in the 12-team playoff, but man, there's a path to where they could do some damage inside the American Conference. Now, none of that, win or lose against Sam Houston State, you can still accomplish all that. But Rice is eternally optimistic because they're bigger. They've got the program at the right spot, and there's a great vibe going around South Main here this year.
I go back and this was before I started following a lot, but I believe back in the day it was split in Conference USA. You guys come out of CUSA when it was split back in the day, correct? And then move into the AAC. What has that transition, years ago been like, and how favorable has it been for Rice to be playing in the AAC?
Yeah, this is just the second year. And going back last year, I'm scrolling down the schedule now. I always you mentioned the Cowboys reference earlier, so you can maybe relate to this. The great Bill Parcells says, hey, you are what the record says you are, right? There's no if we would have done this, this, and this. So I say all that as a caveat. Rice had some really close games. They won some close ones. They lost some close ones. So 6-7 last year very easily could have been 8-5 or 9-4. But again, I know wearing the Rice logo and whatnot. So with SMU leaving, that creates a big hole at the top. I think Memphis rightfully is picked as the top dog. I think I read today they had 23, 24 of the 30 first place votes. Army has been on our schedule a lot here the last few seasons, so that's kind of a budding rivalry. UTSA, I-10, Tussle, they've won 8 straight in a row against us. So Charlotte has snuck up on us a time or two, and we've returned that. So you're starting to get that flavor of some good rivalries going that carried over from Conference USA and developing some new stuff inside the American Conference. But it's great. It's been great in hoops and been great on baseball. On the diamond side of thing, of course, Rice known a lot for baseball, but it's great moving up, and hopefully the conference championships to come here.
JP, final question. I kind of want to circle back to game day atmosphere for our fans, for Sam Houston fans that are making the trip down there. What does that look like when they get to the stadium? I'm just talking of logistics of where's the tailgate happening? Where do folks need to go? What should our fans be aware of? And is there like a destination that you think that they should go to first? Those kind of things.
So we talking food here? We talking
Talking food first. That's what is on everybody's mind. Do you hang out in the tailgate, or is there a place near Rice Stadium that you go eat before the game?
Well, I don't, because despite my svelte physique that is slimming up, I promise I'm not going to get anybody's barbecue business, okay? I tell when non-Texans come in here, what are you doing? Like, Memphis, you don't have good barbecue. Well, they do, actually. I got an argument with a Kansas City guy. I went to a Rangers game a few weeks ago. I sat by a guy from Kansas City. He's like, we started getting into a friendly smack talk about trash barbecue in Kansas City and the great barbecue here in Texas. So you got to go barbecue. I'm trying to think. We don't have any tied sponsors, so I'm okay. Blood Brothers is really good in Bel Air there. That's pretty close to campus. Pit Room would be a big pick for me. And you throw a rock, you hit a great Tex-Mex place. So I'm a barbecue Tex-Mex guy. On the on the west side of Rice Stadium, the Greenbrier lot side with the bubble, that's where a lot of the visiting tailgates assemble in the past. Ample amounts of parking for all the visitors that we've had come through here. There's been plenty of space for them to set up. That's the Greenbrier side. I forget how much. Now watch them. They probably switched up. They're like, what are you doing, Heath? You're giving out wrong intel. But no, the west side, but also they're over to gate 1 on the visiting side. Of course, there's some spots as well too. They have like a little tailgate alley. Get it? Alley, OW
Got it. Yeah, yeah. Just hit me. It
Yeah.
takes a while sometimes, man.
Oh yeah, punny stuff. But both sides of the stadium, there's going to be lots of stuff. I don't know if they have the concerts going just yet that require me for actually be tuned into what's going on, but that escapes my mind right now. Come on, it's a week before the game, but yeah, there's plenty of space to go out there. We're very welcoming to all our guests, and especially to our neighbors up north. And y'all strong alumni base, I imagine, in the Bayou City too, right?
It's slowly growing. It is, absolutely. Well, JP, I appreciate you. I did want to say this. Last year it was BYU on the road, so our fans definitely won't be getting ice cream at Rice Stadium, but they're going to have some great hospitality regardless, right?
Yeah, for sure. Always. We don't. It's not like a BYU atmosphere, but it's great in Texas hospitality. We definitely got that.
Awesome. Well, JP, again, I appreciate your time. I know you were extremely busy working there and getting ready for this matchup. Going to take place Saturday, August the 31st, 6 p.m. kickoff from Rice Stadium down in Houston. You can get your tickets, if you're a Bearcat fan, online at gobearcats.com. JP, man, God bless you, brother. Appreciate you, and have a great call.